Carroll Shelby had brought along his entire family from the Texas chicken ranch. Aston had entered a team of 3 DBR1s for Sterling Moss and Jack Fairman, Roy Salvadori and Carroll Shelby, and Paul Frere and Maurice Trantignan. Sterling does not like Le Mans, considering it too dangerous because of the big speed differential between the faster and slower cars and the mass of inexperienced drivers. Over 120 drivers take part, and there are just not that many drivers in the world with enough skill for Le Mans. With only 4 laps gone, the leading Aston was already lapping slower machinery. The other 2 Astons were running nicely within their time schedules. One hour into the race, lap 14, Moss still led. Salvadori was 5th, a lap behind his team leader. When Berra pitted, Sterling took the lead again. Dan Gurney took over Ferrari number 12 and set off after Moss as the light started to fade. Shelby replaced Salvadori. Behind him on the road was Fairman, having taken the wheel of number 4 from Sterling. Suddenly, on the 66th lap, Fairman stopped in his pit, complaining of fluctuating oil pressure. After a hasty word, Reg Parnell sent him out again to complete his allotted number of laps. Trantignan prepared to take over from Frere. With the Belgian out of the car, the Aston was refueled, oil tank replenished, and the screen quickly cleaned. 53 seconds later, Trantignan rejoined the race in 7th place. "Okay, I'll have a Coke," shouted Frere above the pit lane din. By midnight, the Berra-Gurney Ferrari was having electrical trouble, slowing the car and reducing it to just one headlight. In the early hours of the morning, the lead Ferrari finally retired, promoting the Salvadori Shelby Aston Martin into the lead and the Jean de Bien Hill Ferrari into second. However, in the cold light of day, things didn't look as good. Salvadori had been delayed with tire trouble, dropping his Aston to 2nd place. And with 8 hours still to go, Ferrari number 14 led Aston number 5 by 3 laps. The Frere-Trantignan Aston was 3rd, and Porsches were 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. Even though he had retired, Sterling had stayed in the Aston pit all night to cheer on the remaining 2 DBR1s. Carroll Shelby brought the lead Aston in to hand over to Salvadori, who then set off in pursuit of the single remaining works Ferrari. Reg Parnell tried to forget that twice before, Aston Martins have finished 2nd at Le Mans. By now, Salvadori was 2 laps behind the Jean de Bien Hill Ferrari. The Trantignan-Frere Aston was 3rd. The 4th-placed car, the Belgian-entered 250 GT Ferrari, was a further 19 laps behind, after all 4 works Porsches had retired in quick succession. Then, at 11 a.m., after 263 laps, Jean de Bien pitted the Ferrari unexpectedly. David Brown and Sterling Moss peered down the pit lane in anticipation. The Ferrari was overheating and sounded terrible. Little could be done, so the car was sent out again. "Just give it your best," said Reg to Trantignan. "Good luck," said David Brown. The Astons, and this gave Salvadori a burned foot. Not the only time that Roy got a singeing from Aston Martins. After the plombeurs had refixed the seals, The Aston quickly got underway. Shelby brought the Aston onto the same lap as the Ferrari. "The Ferrari's sick. We've still got a chance," enthused Parnell to Salvadori. The sweat-soaked Shelby jumped out, and once again the Aston mechanics leapt into action. "Go," shouted Reg, and Salvadori got on his way. His co-driver got hearty pats on the back from the team manager and Le Patron. Soon after, Jean de Beer returned with the crippled Ferrari, finally to retire. At Mulsanne, the news was signalled to the two Astons, who were now first and second. The next car, the GT Ferrari, was over 20 laps adrift. The opposition was now annihilated. The Astons cruised, and only mechanical failure could rob them of victory. "This one's ours," said Shelby to Parnell, Brown and Moss. Salvadori brought the Aston in to hand over to Shelby for the final stint. With the big Texan in the saddle, the team began the long and nail-biting wait for 4 o'clock. Shelby slowed down on his last lap in order to take the checkered flag just after 4 o'clock. But by mistake, the organisers failed to show him the flag, and he had to go round again. Aston number 6 came home to finish second. Finally, after completing an extra lap, Shelby was shown the flag, after almost everyone else. He was immediately swamped by the enthusiastic crowd. The winning Aston had completed 2,701 miles at an average speed of 112.5 miles an hour. Moss's early pace had stretched the Ferraris. Reg's strategy had increased reliability. But victory above all was for one man, David Brown, whose faith had finally been rewarded. Roy Salvadori and Carroll Shelby had shattered all 3-litre records to win the 1959 Le Mans.